friends, today I want to make some fabric beads, and I really like the two beads people have been making, and I want to make some today. What I do is I have some muslin, and I do have plain muslin, but you can get like decorative fabric and that kind of thing, but I like to paint them afterwards so that I could kind of have my design and my beads. You don't have to have them painted. You don't have to paint them. You can just get designed fabric, but it's about 4 inches long. The width is whatever size you want your bead to be. And then I just have some fabric glue here, and I'm using this stuff from DecoArts, decoupage fabric. And what I do is I just roll it on my skewer, just like a regular bead. Sorry about the banging. Yeah, the kids. I'm babysitting, and there's playing upstairs right now. So I just put some fabric glue onto my piece here and roll it on until I reach to the part where I need to add more glue. So I kind of do it evenly so I can roll it up nice and evenly, of course. And I like to paint them afterwards and do designs so then I can have the colors that I want or choose. And I don't mind if the fabric's a little got some folds in it or whatever. I want as straight as possible, but it's not a huge thing you have to worry about. And I just roll them up. Oops! I just roll them up nice and tight. And that is it. So you got some nice fabric, boho type of bohemian type of bead. So that's how you use your ends. I got tons of ends so I can make them any size, and you can cut them afterwards too if you want to change to the size of your beads. So this is the start. I'm just going to go and grab my little ends that are kind of twirled around here and glue them to the bead I just made. So I'm using fabric scissors because craft scissors just don't cut the thread or cut the material quite as smoothly. So I have a pair of fabric scissors, just small ones here that you can see. I use just for my fabric crafts. There we go, just putting the ends threads on, and this dries really nice and hard, so you don't need a straw or anything like that to do these. You just put them on like this and you can slide them off. You can put a little bit of glycerin on it if you'd like to make it nice and smoothly come off. I didn't put anything on that one. And there we go. There's my one bead so far. So like I said, I can use acrylic paints on it and paint it up and all that kind of thing and do whatever color I want. So then you don't really have to have necessarily the muslin or anything you have dyed. And that way too, if you're deciding that you want to dye a bunch of muslin, you're not dyeing a bunch of fabric that you're not going to see, so it's just the outside that's going to be designed. But at the same time, you can dye a bunch of fabric, cut them up, and it'll be dyed for you. And then I would probably do more wiring and that kind of thing layers afterwards, but that's the start. So I think that's fun. So I'm just going to grab a little glycerin water and spray it on my stick. I don't want it to be too, I tried before with just pure glycerin and it was quite hard to handle with my hands, but just a little bit of glycerin and water and then you're on your way. So here's a smaller one. I just start wrapping it, a couple wraps in and just go down on my fingers, try to make it even. See how I'm going even? And this is the fabric glue. It's not like squishy glue and that kind of thing, so it's really nice glue for this project, so it doesn't like go right through the the cloth and all that kind of thing like other glues do. It sits nice on the fabric. And if you didn't even want to put any on the outside of the fabric, you don't have to, but I do like to seal it with that. And then I can paint it over. So there's another one. So that's how I make these cloth beads, and you can paint them in any color you want. So I'm just going to make a few of these now and put them to the side to dry. So these are the pieces that I made. I'm going to speed through that video of making the pieces that I did. I'm going to do them quickly. That was just 15 minutes of video speed through, and that's how many I made besides the one that I showed you. Okay. Now, if the ends are you don't like the ends, you can just kind of trim them off with your fabric scissors. Then still nice and soft, but yet right now, anyways, they're soft. So, but they're not sticky anymore. So you can do whatever you want. So I'm just going to. I might have to stop my video, and that's okay. So I'm cutting the threads off, and you can cut them any size. So if they were too long, you can cut them down to a shorter size. I'm just going to cut one down, show you. It still has the center opening. And you can see I could just push it open, still there. Be able to put my fabric or wire through, no problem. You just gotta make sure you open it up before it gets all hard in there. And there you go. You still have your bead all nice. So it's you don't have to use a straw or anything like that. Like I said before, it could just be fabric, leftover fabric. This is muslin. I was making those shields and I have tons of pieces of muslin left over. So now I can paint these and make them into whatever I want. But like I said, you can have it all dyed or painted ahead of time and use pieces that are left over from other projects that are painted. So, but I just decide to use the raw muslin pieces here and just show you how easy it is to decide, because sometimes you don't know what colors you want if you're working on a particular project or what. So there it is. I like the ends being a little bit rough, but I don't want too many straight ends on, so I kind of just clip it a little bit if there is some of that straight ends, but I don't mind if it's a little rough. Just like that. And this I'll fix up because I don't want it to be that uneven. Just like that. This one I'll probably leave, even though it's quite a little crazy on the crazy side. This one, it's just like that. And there we go. So now we could just paint them. And like I said, this one I might just trim down. Oh, trim actually a piece right off because I'm going to have this one as another little bead. So if they're too long, whatever, you can trim a couple pieces off, whatever, save them, that kind of thing. So now I have some little beads and some longer beads. This one here, I had a little bit longer material. So just I did it on purpose to leave it a little longer to show you guys, whoops, dropping them, to show you guys how it doesn't matter how thick or longer, it's just going to make a thicker bead. And there's my hole right through, just after you cut it, just like that. So it's a thicker bead, but it still works. It's really good. So for this particular project here, because I did the painting, I'm going to do the painting after here, so I have another plate here, and I'm throwing them on, and I'm just going to make this kind of a graffiti mess on this one, and I think it's going to be nice and fun. I'm just going to paint, drip, whatever happened to happen, and then move my beads around a little bit and then try to get it everywhere. So I'm going to start with my lightest color. I have yellow a bit. There is a bit of color happening. So, but I'm going to use my shimmer. You can use whatever kind of spray, paints, dyes, kind of things, and that, you know, on them. I'm just having a little trouble with my misters right now, but still, I did wash them. I'm just, some of them I have to keep separate from the ones that are very clogged. So, and I keep forgetting which ones they are. But I'm going to add a little bit of color here, like that. So, but you, like I said, you can have like a design on your piece. Take. Now I'm going to grab a little bit of red. You can have a design on your cloth, but it's kind of fun just kind of figure out what you want. Sometimes we don't want so bright, sometimes we do. I'm going with this really bright one this time. Now I'm going to throw the reds. I didn't really want too much yellow in those little ones. And you don't have to do it this way. This is just like kind of like a, that's why it's a little bit of a kind of a fun mess for me. Now this is one of my favorite colors. This is the teal in Shimmering Misters. Now you could just do them all one color if that was a little lots there, but you could just mix them up and play around with them. So now I'm gonna kind of throw them on here. So I always keep my plates, even though they get totally messy, they'll dry up and you can always play with them more. So now this is what I got, and that's a neat looking bunch of, you know, it doesn't have to have designs or whatever. Another thing I can do with it, So then I have Twinkling Craft, and this one's in champagne, and you can just put that. I have different colors. This is Twinkles, Craft Twinkles brush on glitter paint, and it's from DecoArts. So I would suggest to switch plates when you're doing different stages of decorating, so then you don't get too much contamination on one product onto another. So I'm just grabbing end to end, twisting it around, getting some of that in there. You can do any color. You don't have to do this either, and it's fun. You can do some of them, you can do all of them, you can do tons of it on there. You can just do whatever. Just have fun with it. So this is a different, little bit of a different way to do it. I've seen people making these boho beads and that kind of thing, and I just thought, well, I like the more original idea of wrapping the cloth and just playing with it. So usually people have like colored cloths and that kind of thing, but it doesn't have to be. So you could even just put a little bit of the glitter on and roll it around in there. You don't have to be brushing it on them all. Now I'm getting a little, I would normally probably want to let it dry a bit, but I'm transferring some color over, but because these ones I'm not too particular about, it doesn't really matter. And there we go. Some really nice homemade cloth beads for you. Boho, if that's what they're called, I don't know, but they're really fun. And then you can put the wire through and you can add bead caps and all that kind of fun stuff. But you don't have to add bead caps either. So it's all up to what you guys are planning. So I'm just going to be a little bit more crazy with it because I can. And look at how sparkly that is. Now I'm going to throw it onto the next. So I have a painted one. You have the one you after you rolled it on and you dry them on. You're going to have a few paper plates, so it's good to handy to have these. And then you just throw it on here, let it dry. Move it around, dry it with your heat tool. If you want to let it air dry, probably put them on some toothpicks so they don't stick to the paper. But if you're moving them, they're going to be fine. Now I'm just going to dry these up. Now we have more beads. Alright, not more beads, painted beads. I'm getting some of my computer is getting dusted with sealing. Okay, anyway, so now I have these beads all pretty nice. I like them. Look at how they are. You can do as much or as little to them as these are just, you know, sprayed easy. You can use the colors that you want in your scheme and that kind of thing. I like to use some of this elegant finish in my beads, and I like to use gold and I like to use silver. But today I think I'm going to use silver because I believe I'm going to be using a silver wire. So I'm just dipping my ends in here to my lid because I shook it, and I'm going to blow my end. Hope I'm not blowing into the speaker there so you guys can't. And then there you go, and that's my finished end. So I'm just going to do that, both my ends, and that finishes my bead. So it looks really nice. I like the way that looks, and I've done that with my paper beads as well. And there we go. So if you blow on the end, you can say right through it. You can say, oh, there we go. See, so it doesn't plug it. And that's what I like to do with them. And you can do any color. I like to use the silver and the gold metallics myself. So there's that. Doesn't that look nice? There's that end. There's that end. And there we go. You can do one end at a time and let it dry. You can put on a toothpick, but if you just place it down, for me, I find that's good. And that's just it. That's the part where you just gotta blow the end in. Isn't that nice? And then I just plop it in. Let it dry. To the other end. Then you just gotta make sure you blow it through, not to cover the hole. See, actually I blew it through one and I did the other one. See, and I think it finishes up really nice. Makes it look like a really cool bead. The little ones, you get a little more paint on your fingers, but there you go. And you don't need too much paint. There we go. And that's how I like to finish off all my beads, really. And some of them, you know, if you still want to trim it after this end, and you're kind of like, oh, I don't know if I like the way the end is. There you go. There we go. There we go. So that's what you do with them all. Just continue doing that. So these are the beads. Aren't they cute? Just that. Just what I did. This is the ends of them. Of course my bird has to squawk. And I really like that. It kind of finishes it off. Makes them look really nice. You put your beads through your wire. You can still put a bead cap on. You don't even have to. I think they're really cute. And like I said, you could put any kind of glitter. You could add more to it. But these are the ones I have here now. So you can even you can varnish them or whatever too. But I like the kind of clothy material on it. So it depends, I guess, on the project of what you're making, where you're putting them, kind of thing, and how you want to seal finish them. So these are little ones here. These are my longer ones. And these are the ones I just made here right in front of you. And they didn't take too long. So it was just nice and fun, and they look great, I think. So some of them I left the ends a little on the wild side, and I think that looks cute for some looks. And some of them I trimmed them up a little bit more, and then I like to bubble up the ends a bit more and make them look really cool. I think they look good. I hope you guys give it a try. Don't forget to craft like a duck. Talk to you guys later. And yeah, try these, what I call boho beads. And like I said, you can wire them, still do your wire wraps on them or whatever you want. And yeah, there's so many projects I think you can play with these. Okay, bye. Bye guys. Talk to you later.